Faizun Kamal. I'm with the franchise consulting company. When the company let me go, the question for me became, what can I do to transform my life from the way it is now to create a career I love and therefore, by definition, create a life that I love? So I did that for myself, and the work I now do with individual clients, that is what I help them do. Let's find you a career that you will love. I now have a business, a consulting practice, where I work individually with clients who are in some sort of transition. They don't know yet what they want to do. They have a sense. Some of you mentioned you had started a business. They have a sense, right? Yeah, this might be it, that might be it, this might be it, but you don't quite know what yet. Through the process that we have at the franchise consulting company, I guide the clients through a series of proprietary assessments that we have. We have weekly calls. I introduce my clients to a number. We start with typically three businesses, 3 franchises, an inventory of a couple hundred franchises that we work with. And through a matching process, I take the client, I take a business out of the couple hundred we have and put them together. And that becomes your perfect fit business. The business that is the perfect fit for you based on your skills, your strengths, your weaknesses. We don't like to talk about that too often, do we? But here's the thing. In addition to the things that you guys are great at, that you love, aren't there those things? Each of us have them. Don't lie to me now. There are those things we would rather go get our tooth taken out without lidocaine than do those things. Yeah? Let's figure out what those things are. Because if that's one of the things that is required for you to be successful in a particular business, and you choose that business, are you going to be successful? No, right? So that's a very simple way of kind of explaining it, but that's what we do through the matching process to bring the client and their perfect fit business together. Questions? Comments? Jokes? Yes?
Well, so you said you only work with a few, or 100 or so franchises. So how can a franchise partner with you? Because so basically, I have a friend whose business is now a franchise, and so particularly, I want to open one of his stores.
Okay.
But
so how does a franchise partner with the company that I'm with? Is that the question?
Right.
Okay. I don't deal directly in that. The corporate team does that. Mm-hmm. They have a series of vetting measures and steps that they take, whether it's the financials, how long that particular franchise has been around, are there any litigations against them, who's the management team. They have a series of things that they have to check off. Once the company meets those criteria, then they come on board and become one of the franchises that I'm able to show clients. And their vested interest is they want candidates who have already been vetted on 2 levels. You want a candidate who has the financials required to open that particular business. Because remember, every franchise has a very specific investment level.
Right.
You're going to need some liquid cash. You're also going to need some assets to back up whatever loan you might need to take to fund the business. Make sense?
Yeah.
So the financials, that's one piece. The other piece is the other stuff. What is their skill set? Are they team workers? Are they team players? Because remember, it is in the best interest of the franchise to make sure that the vetting takes place before a certain client becomes a franchisee, right? Because it's a system. And this person that you're bringing on board, they have to work with corporate, they have to work with their other franchisees as well. So the franchises, their dog in the game, if you will, is they're being handed clients that are viable, that have been vetted by people like me.
Sure.
Which is not to say that you couldn't go to the website of any of these franchises, call up the 1-800 number and have a conversation. That happens all the time too. The point is, you are getting ready to make an investment that may equal or may exceed what you paid for your house if you're a homeowner. It's a large investment. So you want to make sure that you, what's the phrase? I always get this messed up. Dot your T's, dot your I's, cross your T's, right? Before you go on to sign that 10-year agreement. You want to know what you're getting into, right? So a franchise is essentially the creation of a distribution channel for either a product or a service. Creation of a distribution channel that magnifies your brand identity, but here's the most important part, that helps you attain market dominance quickly. That is the key part. So, as a gentleman, why would you want to be a franchisee? Because remember, when you buy a franchise, there are two fees you're going to be talking about. There's a one-time fee called a franchise fee. This gives you the right to operate as brand ABC, franchise fee. The second thing that you're looking at is the ongoing royalty. This is a monthly payment that you make to the parent company. You're talking about, think of it as two portions. There is a portion of cash that you're putting on the table, your skin in the game. The rest of that amount is essentially part of what is required to get the business up and running, number one, and then number two, it is going to be your working capital for X number of months. Because when you open up a business for the first 12 months, there are many things you can plan for, but there are also a couple of things that are going to creep up on you, right? You must have a little bit of a cash cushion. Every franchise that is worth their salt will say, sir, this is how much money you're going to need right now to get into the business, but we also require that you have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 that will cover 12 months of working capital. That's that entire amount. And, I make the best pizzas in the world. My friends and family, they tell me I make the best pizzas. So Faizun, I would like to open up a pizzeria. So I said, okay. So let's walk through this. So Bahir, you make the best pizza. You want to open up a pizzeria. When you open up your franchise, as the business owner, are you going to be back in the kitchen every day making the pizza dough for your customers?
No. You gotta rely on someone.
You are running the business. You are going to hire a cook, a chef, waiters, whatever, right? Staff, employees. Don't confuse your desire or your passion for something that you like to do with what the business does. You are the business owner. You are working on the business. You're not working in the business. It's a subtle but a very important distinction. So there are people, a lot of times this is what we see, they will buy a franchise because they love to make pizza. I had another client, he was a good friend of mine. He and I went to business school together. A couple of years later, he reached out to me and he said, hey, I didn't know you did this franchise stuff. I said, yes, I do this franchise stuff. What's going on? And he said, for many years, I have been thinking about buying a Meineke. I said, really? Why? Well, ever since I was a little boy, I loved to go under the hood of my dad's car and tinker around. I said, all right. So using the same analogy, I said, all right, George, so when you open up a Meineke or a Jiffy Lube, as the business owner, are you going under the hoods of your clients' cars? Or do you have techs that you've hired to do the oil change, to do the maintenance? And the light bulb went off in his head. Many times when you confuse the two, you end up buying a business that you can't run because you bought it for the wrong reasons. We see a lot of that. Unfortunately, this is a pricey investment, right? You want to be very careful about what you're getting into. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you guys, have you guys heard of the VetFran program? VetFran. So write that down, Google it. The other website, if any of you have any interest in franchises that you should look at, IFA.org. This is the International Franchise Association. This is our trade body, a trade association. It has anything and everything you ever wanted to know about franchises. So that should be a starting point. But VetFran is a special initiative that was started in 1991 by the IFA. It's a program that was intended to create benefits, give resources, give training, give education, specifically to veterans, to have more veterans come into franchising. These include, so you remember I talked about the franchise fee, the one-time payment? Any franchise that is a VetFran franchise will give you a certain percentage off of the franchise fee. And the amount that you get off can be pretty significant. Keep that in mind. Do you guys think that you buy a franchise? No, you don't. You do not buy a franchise. You buy a franchise. Of course you buy, but you don't buy a franchise. You are awarded a franchise. See that? The good franchises, not the ones that call themselves franchises, they just want the check from you. The moment they have it, you wake up next morning, they're nowhere to be found. Not those franchises. I'm talking about the ones that are the real good, solid, robust ones. They will not just take anybody that comes to them.
Correct.
Because remember, who makes money when you make money as franchisees?
They do.
They do. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. Right? So you best believe that if they accepted you as a franchisee and awarded you a franchise, they know that you have the wherewithal that it takes to hire people, to grow the business, to grow the team, to do what you need to do to get revenues and grow your business. And by the way, every solid franchise is going to give you the training that you need before you can even open the doors to your business. You don't just pay them money and then jump right into it. You're going to go through a certain period of training on what the business requires, on how do you hire employees, on how do you, etc., etc., etc.